The industrial parks on the city's edge hum with a low, constant energy. By day, trucks haul fabric and finished garments, fueling Europe's fast fashion empire. But as dusk falls, a heavy, watchful silence settles in. These workshops, often dark, conceal secrets woven into the very fabric they produce. Beneath the glossy surface of affordable style lies a brutal, hidden ecosystem. This industry's relentless speed and low costs have attracted more than just entrepreneurs. Whispers persist about shadowy powers controlling the logistics, shipping, transport, and distribution by any means necessary. To operate here, you play by unwritten rules. The community is insular. Many are migrants bound by language and culture, creating fertile ground for control. Fear is traded as freely as fabric. Silence is survival. Authorities remain distant, struggling to pierce this deliberately opaque world. This isn't a story about fashion, but about the shadows it casts. The real conflict plays out in alleyways and loading docks, enforced by threats and violence. The code of silence is nearly unbreakable. Here the story begins not with a design, but with a deadly power struggle. In 2010, the fragile peace shattered. 2 Chinese men were murdered with machetes. A brutal message, not a random act. This was a declaration of war between rival gangs from Zhejiang and Fujian, each vying for control of Europe's fast fashion logistics. These were sophisticated syndicates, not street thugs. Control over transport meant control over everything: extortion, profit, and power. The double murder forced authorities to confront a hidden war they'd long suspected. For workers, the violence confirmed their worst fears. These unseen powers would kill to maintain control. The gangs asserted dominance over everyone, and crossing them could be fatal. Tension thickened across workshops and warehouses. The authorities faced a crisis. This was no simple murder, but a window into a vast criminal conspiracy. Investigators began mapping the networks of power, money, and intimidation. The 2010 murders marked the true beginning of a long, frustrating journey into the shadows. The battle for control had turned deadly and public. The murders triggered a sprawling investigation: China Truck. The focus: dismantle the criminal network controlling road freight and logistics. Police targeted 58 suspects, uncovering a syndicate built on violence and fear. At the top, a boss of bosses, a ghostly figure directing operations across Europe. Capturing him became the investigation's central goal. Wiretaps revealed turf wars, extortion, and labor smuggling. For a moment, it seemed authorities were closing in. By 2018, the case was ready for court. Prosecutors cautiously optimistic. They hoped to expose the system's criminal core and bring justice. China Truck was set to be a landmark trial, but the courtroom battle would prove even more daunting. The trial's start marked a new, frustrating chapter. Years passed. No defendant testified, no witness spoke. The courtroom became a theater of delays and suspected sabotage. Documents vanished, only to reappear. Progress stalled. Language became a weapon. Interpreters quit. Transcripts were unusable. The code of silence extended into the justice system itself. Without accurate translations, prosecutors couldn't present their case. The alleged mastermind was released in 2018 due to delays and fled to China, beyond extradition. His right-hand man was later killed, another twist in a case unraveling by sabotage and death. Fear and intimidation proved stronger than judicial summons. The voices that once revealed the syndicate's secrets became unintelligible. The trial, meant to deliver justice, was paralyzed by silence. The criminal network's grip remained unbroken. The case was slipping away, not by verdict, but by attrition. 7 years after the investigation closed, the China truck trial remains frozen. Prosecutors sought to classify the gangs as mafia, unlocking tougher penalties, but the legal battle dragged on. The defense exploited every loophole, aiming to exhaust the system. Key evidence was lost in translation. Key figures were absent or dead. The trial became a legal ghost, haunting the docket but never moving forward. Victims' families wait for justice that seems ever more remote. Witnesses are silenced by fear or futility. The chilling reality of gang control remains outside the courtroom. Even new translators warn they may not understand the dialects in crucial evidence. The next hearing is scheduled, but few expect a breakthrough. The courtroom remains a silent waiting space. As the China truck trial stalled, violence erupted anew. The coat hanger wars. Control over coat hanger production, a lucrative niche, sparked a brutal turf war. New suppliers undercut prices, threatening the old monopoly. The response: bombings and arson across Italy, France and Spain. At least 16 attacks since April 2024. Violence escalated. A businessman was stabbed by a team flown in from China to protect business interests. The attackers were caught and sentenced, but the message was clear. Monopoly would be enforced by force. The criminal networks adapted, escalating their methods. The stalled trial emboldened them. The law seemed powerless. The coat hanger wars proved the battle for control was far from over. The front had shifted, but the brutality remained. The fashion district's shadow deepened. The China truck case and coat hanger wars exposed the Prato system, a culture of illegality in the textile industry. Tax evasion, customs fraud, corruption, and labor exploitation are routine. Thousands of companies, many Chinese-owned, use open and closed tactics to dodge taxes and authorities. Customs fraud and smuggling give illicit firms a huge cost advantage. Profits are funneled out of the country through clandestine channels. Millions of euros leave weekly. Fear and silence sustain the system. Cooperation with authorities is rare. Without insiders or international help, dismantling the Prato system remains nearly impossible. The fast fashion engine runs on a vulnerable, exploited workforce, mainly undocumented immigrants. Workers live and labor in unsafe, cramped conditions for minimal pay, denied basic rights. Their precarious status makes them easy to control. Complaints risk deportation or violence. Attempts to organize are met with brutal force. Protests are violently broken up. Even police are attacked. The system depends on a compliant, silent workforce. The human cost is immense but invisible. Workers beaten, rights denied, communities living in fear. The cheap clothes on European racks carry the weight of this exploitation. December 11, 2025. The China truck case lingers, a ghost in the justice system. The alleged mastermind is free, the violence has evolved, and exploitation continues. The shadow over the fashion district has only grown darker. Criminal syndicates exploit globalization, weaponizing silence and legal delays. Honest businesses are squeezed, workers remain trapped, and authorities are left with a stalled trial. There are no heroes or neat endings, only the hum of sewing machines and the knowledge that the system endures. The curtain has fallen, but the shadow remains, a persistent, unresolved presence in Europe's heart.